What's up, everybody? Welcome to the premiere of Bright here on IGN. I'm Damon Hatfield here with Tiffany Smith.
Hello, you guys. I'm so excited to be here. I love being on carpet premieres because you just never know what's going to happen. There's always so much craziness. And I think you guys may have already seen the limo drop where Will Smith has already arrived at the premiere. He's signing autographs for fans. Just, it's so fun because you come to these places and obviously on the other side of us, which you guys can't see, but you can see behind us, there's fans who've been lining up here all day just to see Will Smith, David Ayer, Edgar Ramirez, all of the actors from this film, Bright.
Yeah, so Bright is a big new Netflix original starring Will Smith, directed by David Ayer from Suicide Squad. So the two have teamed up again, and they're bypassing the movie theater to bring the movie directly to you next Friday, December 22nd. Later on the show, we will be interviewing Will Smith. We'll be interviewing the Will Smith, and then a few other Will Smiths.
Yeah, apparently he's been promoting the film by bringing other Will Smiths around with him.
He's rounded up just as many Will Smiths as he can find, and he's gonna bring him here on the show.
I'm gonna definitely put myself in the mix because I'm like, well, I'm a Smith. I may not be a Will Smith, but I am a Tiffany Smith.
It's true. Tiffany,
pretty close.
There's a lot to see here on the black carpet for Bright.
Yeah.
What all is there to see?
This carpet is so much fun, you guys. What I was saying about earlier, where you saw little clips of Will Smith signing autographs with fans, that's the limo drop. It's all the way at the other end. That's where the actors, directors, all the friends and family get dropped off, and they start making their way down this carpet where you can see there's a pit of fans that are going to be hanging out there cheering for everybody that they see. And obviously, you come to these premieres, it's all about taking that great photo, getting a great photo op. And so there's a graffiti wall because this film takes place in LA, in an alternate world, obviously, because there's orcs and elves and fairies, but there's a graffiti wall down there where people can be taking photos. You can see some fans and people doing it right now. It looks so cool. The visuals in this film are so much fun. Then they're going to make their way down a little bit further, and David Ayer has talked so much about how music is such a big part of his films. There is a DJ here tonight. There have been musical performances as the actors are going to be making their way down the carpet, which I have to say is really good inspiration for while they're making their way down Photog Alley.
It gets me in a good mood. It gets me pumped.
So true.
And I hear some people cheering over there, so we know some of the stars from the film are already making their way down here. Those stars will include Will Smith, who we'll be talking to later. Yeah. Will Smith has just arrived here on the scene at the Bright premiere here in Los Angeles. David Ayer, the director, will be here. Many other members of the cast and the musicians on the soundtrack. And we are also, later on, going to have an exclusive clip from Bright that we will be able to share with you for the first time.
And the other thing for you guys, if you want to be a part of this conversation, use the hashtag #BrightMovie.
Speaking of.
This is live. You never know how it's going to go down. And right now we've got David Ayer joining us. How are you?
Hey, I can say anything now, right?
Yes, anything.
It's live, so.
I can't stop you. No one can stop you.
There we go.
Welcome to the IGN stage here. Congrats on the premiere of your movie.
Thank you so much.
We've seen all the trailers. We kind of have the gist of what the movie is about, but tell us what Bright is all about in your own words.
I mean, Bright's about two guys who work together having a really bad night.
What I love so much about your films is they're always so grounded and really realistic and gritty. This one in particular, and even just your description of it, you really leave out the fact that it is a fantasy, that there are elves and orcs and fairies. So how do you balance those two things?
I mean, it's like an old school hardcore cop movie, but at the same time, there's these crazy elements. You know, there's magic and orcs, like you said. But at the same time, it's a lived-in world. You know, even though there's orcs, you know, orcs got to pay their bills just like everybody else.
So this is your second time in a row working with Will Smith. Apparently you two like working together. Apparently that's going well.
Yeah, I mean, we do get along. We got a shorthand now. You know, I'll ask him to do something. He'll give me kind of a hard look, and I'll tell him to do it anyway. But no, he's a fantastic collaborator. And, I mean, it's when you have that kind of relationship, it's really about trust, and I think it's just going to grow.
Well, what I think is so cool, and I got to chat with you during the Suicide Squad promotions, and just talking to all those actors and hearing what these actors have said, you build up such a strong rapport with your actors and build that rapport up between them. And this being a film that is like a buddy cop film, how do you really get that out of them? Like, are there things in particular where you go in and you're like, okay, you guys need to do this, Joel and Will, you guys are going to hang out here, I'm going to be a part of this. How does it work for you?
Well, I mean, you know, Will and Joel did a lot of police training. They did some ride-alongs with the LAPD. You know, I didn't want them to feel like actors wearing costumes. I wanted them to feel like cops who do this for a living. And they were game. I mean, they worked really hard to get that right.
Well, so you've told gritty cop stories before. What made you want to inject some fantasy into a cop story?
it's a great opportunity to really use allegory. The film does have, kind of a deeper meaning and a deeper message to it. And when you do have those kind of different fantasy elements, you have permission to go places that may be a little tough in a regular movie.
I love it so much, just hearing you talk about it and talking about the grittiness and mixing in the fantasy element of it, which I think made it so much fun for fans to first get to see clips of it at Comic-Con. And even just seeing the fans here tonight, it's so awesome, the cheers that you guys are getting just walking onto the carpet tonight. How's that feel for you?
It's great. I mean, it's a big entertaining movie, and it's a lot of fun. And it's going to release 190 countries simultaneously at the same instant in the world. And really, this is unprecedented. Nothing this big has been released this widely.
Awesome.
Well, David, thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Congrats on the premiere of Bright. And I think we're going to take a look at a trailer for the film right now. Stay tuned.
Enjoy your night. Congrats.
Why is there a fairy in the bird feeder again?
Good afternoon, officer. Fairy lives don't matter today. That's it right there. Now take the little homie out LAPD style like you do. Oh, and you keep doing all your gangster stuff. I'm just trying to sell my house. Don't worry about that. Everybody's just trying to get along and have a good life. All of the races are different. Just because they're different doesn't mean anybody's better or worse than anybody.
Hey, where's the diversity hire?
I got a dude in my car. I didn't ask for it, but the whole world is watching. Boy, it's okay. You don't like me. Man, I'm not out here to be your friend. I need to know if shit pop off that you got my back.
Can't hide it, Wood. Humans have physical tells. Like the face.
What's my face?
The human who needs a lot more conjugal love type face.
Do not wink at me like that.
All Westlake units requesting assistance.
3 Adam 9, show us en route.
Shouldn't we wait for the cavalry?
We are the cavalry.
What is it?
Hey!
That's a magic wand. This is like a nuclear weapon that grants wishes.
That's whatever you want. You want to be taller or shorter? You want $10 million? You're not stealing that wine. You gotta get out of this neighborhood. They're gonna kill you, then me. And that's when the stupid shit's gonna start.
Not afraid of the dark.
The magic wand. We have to secure it. They don't teach that at the academy.
No, they do not. They're gonna keep coming. Let's do it.
Some days I can't get out of my head. That's just the dark side of me.
We might be in a prophecy.
We're not in a prophecy. We're in a stolen Toyota Corolla.
All right, you guys, we are here at the premiere of Bright. Use the hashtag #BrightTheMovie if you want to be a part of the conversation, which I know you guys do. We want to see your pictures, your videos, all that good stuff. And this is such a cool and interesting and unique premiere because Bright is premiering on Netflix on December 22nd, which it's so cool because I know we all, myself included, binge watch so much stuff on Netflix. As soon as it drops, I'm like, I'm watching it right now. So this is so interesting. What do you think about it being on Netflix?
I was just talking the other day. There's so much original content on Netflix now. Netflix has really sort of taken over that water cooler conversation. Like, there's, if Game of Thrones isn't on, I feel like people aren't talking much about HBO anymore. They're talking about the latest Netflix show.
Yeah.
There's so much content, and it's all happened in such a short amount of time. I think House of Cards premiered in 2013.
Well, and I think there's so much to be said just for the star power that Will Smith brings, that you're going to do a film like this and premiere it on Netflix. And as you guys can see and hear behind us, this carpet has just
Yeah.
been crazy, and that is not in small part due to the fact that the star of this movie is Will Smith.
And he's going to be here. He's going to be here on the show later on. Will Smith and the other Will Smiths will also be coming by. He's been rounding up as many Will Smiths as he can find, because apparently doing a lot of the press tour for this has
Yeah.
been very grueling. We're joined by a guest now.
Hello, how you
Dawn.
doing?
Good. What's happening?
We're
We
just
were-
talking to some folks.
We were
hanging
just
out.
talking about your on-screen husband.
Yeah, he's something to talk about, isn't he?
So you play Will Smith's wife in the film. Talk to me a little bit about how this project came through for you. And we were also discussing it being on Netflix. What was that experience like for you?
I mean, the whole thing is like another planet, right? I mean, the way that they're doing it, this is a huge movie, and it has a huge message, which is so, it's just so rad to be a part of that and to be a part of that machine that's moving through, and it's just bulldozing with love and magic and like authenticity. I'm like, yeah, I'm on that train.
Well, I think a lot of policemen's wives, worry about their husbands when they're out in the field. In your character's case, now he also has to contend with all these fantasy elements too. Does that
Can you imagine?
put more worry? Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough.
I
Can
know,
you
right?
imagine now there exists this like dark force? I mean, it's
Yeah.
real life though. There is a dark force in real life, and we
True.
can make it, magical if we want. But it's real, and it affects people, and it's especially, like you said, the wives of the officers. It's a hard road to run down.
Well, and what I think is so great about the movie too is there's this balance between it having this fantasy element, but also being super grounded.
Yeah.
There's one clip in particular that I think all the fans have seen with the ferry outside,
Yeah.
where you're like, you've got to go take care of that. How do you
That ferry is super annoying.
How do you find that rapport and that connection with someone like Will Smith where you're like, you have to give him the business? You're like, dude, you're going to go out and do this.
We had a lot of fun with that moment in the scene because we riffed a lot, and he's really improvisational, and so am I. So we kind of, we just moved through that, and we would just keep going back and forth until David's like, okay, guys, like we got to actually kill the fairy. Like you got to let him go do it.
It's time to kill the fairy.
Yeah, it's time to kill it. But it's just, it is whatever that thing is outside. It's a fairy, it's a whatever, it's a mosquito, I don't know. It's that dude that lives on the corner that keeps stalking you. You're like, you got to deal with that, like now,
You got to have your husband take care of stuff sometimes. You're like, baby, go do that thing.
Better man up.
That's what we're here for. So your character is human, but if you could be
Yeah.
any magical being, what would it be?
Wow.
Anything.
Wow. I mean, does the wind count?
A magic
I
wind.
Mm.
mean, you could, I would say a fairy of the wind of nature, but you wouldn't want to be a fairy.
In the movie? Because I don't know. I'm not sure. I would maybe an elf would be pretty rad.
Elves seem to have
be.
it pretty good.
Yeah,
I think so.
but
yeah.
there's some middle ground. It's not an elf because I don't want to live on the other side of that wall. I like moving. I like moving through. Maybe an elf, but like a different kind of elf.
Sure.
Well, I love it. While you watch the movie premiere tonight, maybe you'll like take a second look and be like, maybe an orc, maybe an elf.
And actually, I haven't seen the movie yet.
Oh my God.
No, I purposely
That's
like
so fun.
to wait
Yeah, that's
so
so
that I
fun.
can watch it in this kind of an experience. Because I don't want to, you do all this pomp and circumstance. I want to actually be there eating the popcorn, watching the movie with everybody.
Well, I know the fans are all super pumped to see you, so thank you so much. Enjoy it. Enjoy watching it with the fans for the first time. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you guys.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All
Oh
right.
my gosh, this is so much fun. Hello,
next
how
up-
are you doing? Hello, gentlemen.
Welcome to the Edgerton stage here.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming. This live stream is crazy. We don't know who's coming up here, but I did know you guys were coming up here because I'm like, we have to talk about the makeup, the effects in this one,
Yeah.
because the orcs are practical. Talk to us about...
When you're in live TV, how do you? And who are these guys that are coming up? Like,
They're
you get-
talking in our ears.
Yeah, they are. Okay.
Yeah, they're
Don't
telling
reveal
us.
our magic. We're
We
here
know
to
all
talk
about
to them
you.
to reveal theirs.
Effect what you do.
Yeah, I know.
No, we were absolutely thrilled to get the job because, as you know, there's a lot of digital in movies these days. But when you have this kind of a gritty, real life-based story, really the practical stuff is the way to go. And when you see Joel's performance as an orc in this, it's something tactile and tangible.
Yeah, well, so an orc is a type of creature that we've seen many times, but it seems like you guys were able to come up with your own unique look on these orcs.
And that's always the goal, right? It's getting harder and harder to come up with new and unique things because everything's on the internet these days,
Yeah.
right? But what was nice was, it's a really tricky thing that David decided to do by putting an orc head in a police uniform because it has a chance to look really silly. But it didn't. It went completely the opposite direction, and a lot of that is in addition to our makeup, humbly, but a lot of it's Joel Edgerton and the other actors bringing it to life in a way that makes it feel natural.
And I think you guys can see if you're watching the live stream, there are some security guards that have some of the orc makeup on
fun.
the carpet. Where did you guys draw some of the inspiration from for the look of them? Because like Damon was saying, they're so unique looking. I've never seen an orc that looks quite like these do.
Well, you know, you do have to kind of dig deep, and you have to look at the facial structure of your subject. Like Joel's character of Jacoby had to be reminiscent of, you have to work with what he's got, and Joel has a great facial structure to work with. And then the other person who's not here with us is Chris Nelson, who is the lead application artist. And a lot of that coloration, those bold spottings, comes from Chris's mind. And it was just a wonderful combination of a great teamwork on this.
So I have to ask, you're saying facial structure gives so much. So looking at the two of us, what would we be if we were in Bright?
Well, I think you could very easily be one of the most beautiful orc women on the planet.
I see where this is going
for
me.
I'm not so sure about you. You might be an orc accountant.
I see where this is going. Okay. All right.
But, you know, a good orc accountant.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
Yeah, I'll deal with
I
that.
do play Warcraft, and I do play as an orc sometimes, so there's that.
Really?
You got them. You're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Well, there are some beautiful women in the orc world, and you'll see them in this movie.
I assume you know I'm a big fan of practical effects. You guys must have been big fans of Rick Baker, Stan Winston.
Exactly right. We worked for Stan Winston, and we've known all of the guys that got us interested, and we came up through this. We've been doing this for 35 years.
Yeah, wow.
And we've had our own company for 30 years, and in fact, the crowds of people that love this work keep getting bigger. We have a YouTube channel called Studio ADI, surprisingly, because that's our company. But over 100 million, over 100 million views that people just love to look at it.
You need to check it out because you would love it.
Sure. Yeah.
And you should follow us on the Instagrams as well.
Yep.
Alec_Gillis and Tom.
Tom_Woodruff Jr.
Cool.
How much, just even talking about this being on Netflix and it being somewhere that people have so much access to so quickly, and for you guys doing what you do, how has it changed for you having the fans be able to have so much access to your work, getting to see the things that you're doing online?
It's been great for us. In fact, around 2011 or so, when there was so much digital work being done, we were saying, like, I don't know, maybe it's time to hang it up. And that's when we discovered that there was this huge online fan base of people who love practical effects, and we started hearing from them, and it kind of buoyed our spirits. And so we feel like we owe the fans a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you for carrying the torch of practical effects.
Thank you very much.
Congrats on the
Invite
premiere.
it to the studio. If you ever want to come
that'd be
out,
great.
you don't have to bring cameras with you.
Okay,
you
but
can come
can
and
we?
look at the stuff. It's
we'd love to.
Really a wonderful. Short of that, visit the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Even without cameras, we observed the 7-second delay. So
Sure, yeah.
I'm going to say this was on camera that they invited us, so we're definitely going to be there. Go
Thanks,
and
guys.
enjoy the film, gentlemen.
Congrats,
so nice
yeah.
to meet you both. Nice to meet
See you,
you.
yeah.
So cool. I love
Wow.
hearing about that aspect
Yeah.
of this film because it is so important. We obviously talked about the orcs, but there is another species in these films, the elves, that I loved so much. And I think we're about to be joined by one of the elves from the film. I think Edgar Ramirez is making his way down here. I loved that character so much in this film because it's so different than the orcs. They're so streamlined and elegant.
Yeah, well, there's a hierarchy in this world, right? And elves are kind of at the top.
Yeah.
At the top of the food chain.
At the top, and sometimes they have the most sleek blue hair you've
Yeah.
ever seen also,
Yeah.
which he does in this film. If you guys are just joining us, you are watching the premiere of Bright. We are here in Los Angeles, and I think we are just about to be joined by Edgar Ramirez. Coming up here, sir. How you doing?
Hello, welcome.
Hello. Yeah.
So we were chatting about the film and just discussing the fact that there are all these different species, and that we talked about the orcs. They're a little more rugged. The elves are very elegant, very well put together. What was it like for you putting on the makeup, putting on the blue wig, the hair? I don't know if you dyed your hair. What'd you do for the hair?
No, well, it's not blue, it's purple.
Okay. Purple hair. Either one's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. It was David is very specific about what he wants, you know, but at the same time, he's very open to suggestions and to different inputs. So it was a great process. Actually, for the first time, I was involved in choosing my wig. You know, it's like I sit down with a wig maker who's a legendary Italian wig maker. Actually, they won the Oscar last year. You know,
Very cool.
and and I got to choose the colors, and he showed me like the variety of colors. It was fantastic. It was a great experience.
And that's why you're like, it wasn't blue, it was purple.
He knows.
Just correcting you.
Yeah, because I know. And then you know, I collaborated with Kiton, you know, the amazing Italian fashion house to make the clothes for Candomir for my character. So I don't know. It was a very interesting process. You know, like to design a character from you know, like every little detail.
So tell us about your character. You're an elf that's also a federal agent, is that right?
Yeah. I mean, basically, Candomir is an elf that decides to step down from privilege in order to grant other people the same privileges. So basically, as other characters in the film, he's a rebel. I mean, he rebels against what society expects him to be. So basically, the elves within the mythology of Bright, which is so exciting because it's a whole new mythology.
Yeah, right.
The elves are the ruling class. I mean, they're always the bosses. They're never employees. And Candomir, they're the 1%. And Candomir decides to step down from that and then go mingle and protect other people's rights. So, you know,
cool.
If it rings a bell.
Well, I have to ask one more quick thing. I know you like to do a lot of research, and you were saying this new mythology. What did you study? Did you kind of fall into the mythical, magical world of like gaming or reading books? I have my Elvish tattoo, so I'm a nerd.
I mean, yes and no, because the rules, I mean, the set of rules within Bright are just like ours now. I mean, people, they wake up in the morning, they go to work. Some do, some don't have to. And you got all those kind of people and rules. So people still go and pay their bills. They take their kids to school, but in a fantastical world. So that is the twist. So yeah, for example, the Elvish language, of course, it has a lot of, you know, Icelandic, Scandinavian languages, a little bit of Japanese. I mean, it's a very unique language, and that had some inspiration from, you know, the classic mythology. But it was all reinterpreted through the eyes of David and the rest of us.
Well, Edgar, thank you so much for talking to us, and congrats on the premiere.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
We're going to take a look at a quick clip, and then we'll be back with more interviews right after this.
Police Academy Diversity Training video number 14. Los Angeles is the first city in America with an orc on the police force. Being an orc in a human police force has its challenges that you should be sensitive to. Remember, he's a police officer first.
Drop the sword.
Respect cultural differences.
We will not be listening to no orcish music.
Identify unblooded discrimination. Always have his back, because he will always have yours.
Got you. You're okay.
After all, you can't spell force without orc.
Take your fat, Shrek-looking ass back the fuck home to Fiona.
Welcome back to the Bright premiere here on IGN. We're in Los Angeles. We're talking to a lot of stars and the director of the film. And in just a little bit, I believe we'll be talking to Will Smith, star of the film, and the other Will Smiths that he brought along with him.
If you guys are just joining us, we got to chat with David Ayer about this film, Bright, and it was so much fun because just hearing him kind of talk about the fact that he's known as a director who does really gritty, grounded stuff, and this one, obviously, like what he did with Suicide Squad, has a little bit of a fantasy, not a little bit, a lot of it of a fantasy element to it. You've got orcs and fairies and elves, and just grounding that in this really being a buddy cop film, helmed by Will Smith and Joel Edgerton.
Yeah, and you talk about it being gritty. This is an R-rated film.
It is. There's a lot of language in this movie.
Definitely an R-rated film.
There's a lot of really cool kills in this movie. I'm not gonna lie. My inner geek, not inner, because I'm like, she's just out all the time. My geek girl was like, yes, this is awesome. I'm on board.
Yeah, no, David Ayer directed several films before Suicide Squad, which was PG-13, and he also wrote Training Day. So he has a lot of experience in the R-rated realm. So now he's come back to it. I think he said in other interviews that he feels happy to be back, be able to flex his R-rated muscles, I think.
And the great thing about this movie as well is that it is on Netflix. It's premiering on December 22nd, and what we've heard from a lot of the people on the carpet tonight is that it's felt like getting to do an indie film again, really getting to have their hands in every aspect of the film. We had Edgar Ramirez up here talking about the fact that he got to sit down and talk about the look that his elf character was going to have, the color of his wig, the outfit. And a lot of times on other film sets, you don't really get that much say in it. So this is really cool because I feel like it's such a passion project for everybody.
Yeah, it also seems like a project that Netflix believes in. This is it's not a cheap movie. This is an expensive, almost $100 million movie. So that's Netflix giving a thumbs up to the whole David Ayer vision here.
Yeah. The cool thing too, I know we've talked about this, but David Ayer is so engrossed in music and saying that it has such a big impact on how the movie runs and for the characters even. I know he gave songs particularly to each actor to be like, you should listen to this. And the cool thing about this carpet is they realized that music was such a big part of this film, so there were live musical performances still going on tonight. There was one a little bit earlier, so I'm going to give you guys a little look. Check this out.
Yeah. Bright premiere. Whoa. The greatest group in the world, Migos, is here. Everybody make some noise for the greatest group, Migos. Let's go.
Trying to get demons up out of me. Turn to a beast, eat your arteries. Just season the bonus so properly. Unleashing the dumps off what got to me. We come to take this shit over. Put on the gas, hit the motor. Switching my thoughts on bipolar. I stare in the eyes of a cobra. Say you want smoke, come get it. You wanna play dumb, I'm with it. I'm about to take over the city. I came with my committed gang with it. Came for the bag and the profit. Looking for the wave when we got it. Nigga, you ain't scared nobody. Whole body. On the dark side, it can get cold. It's a cold case. In my right mind, I can ride till I progress. Skeleton on my left wrist, and it's so place. Me go. Me like my God, like a God, then it got me through the pain. Danger. I don't fit in, I'm a stranger. Believer. I can take out all the evil. Empowerment to all my people. I can prove to you I'm a leader. Run through the money, no visa. Forgive me, cause my life illegal. Searching for the bag and the prize. On a mission looking for the bad guys. Can't run no player, but my head I'm real wise. Look at his eyes wide, think he traumatized. Take me as a joke, I'ma hang him on the road. Cause where I'm from, we don't play like that on the outside. Better not free, cause we know you gon' choke. Caught behind my back, boy, your shots backfire.
You guys were just checking out a little clip of Migos performing live here at the premiere of Bright. And now we are joined by Noomi Rapace, who I know that music is such a big part of this movie and David Ayer's process with you guys. And I've heard that music was a huge part of developing your character, right?
Yeah. I love rap music and hip hop. But in reggae, I was listening to music every day in the makeup trailer, really loud, like killing everyone. Yeah.
So we've talked to a number of the cast members already, but you are the villain of the film, is that right? Yeah. So tell us about your character.
Her name is Layla. I'm an elf. I'm brutal, evil, but with a passionate heart.
I feel like every actor I've talked to that plays the quote-unquote villain,
They don't want to be they don't want to be all evil.
No,
It's like,
they're not a villain to them.
she's doing the right thing.
No, of course not. You know, and I think, you know, as an actor, you have to go all the way in and fully understand the character. And I really love her, and I can understand why she's doing what she's doing.
Yeah.
It might look like brutal and horrible from other people's point of view, but from my perspective, she's fighting for something good from her own angle.
Well, and what I really enjoy about this movie in particular, too, is we were just chatting about this before we went live, but just saying you have so many friends here. And I feel like this being a Netflix film, did that really make it feel like a family working on the film a little bit more, that you guys were all really, this is a passion project for everyone involved?
Yeah. I mean, I fell in love with the script, and then I met David, and he was like, do you want to do it? I was like, yeah. He was like, it's yours. So it was like everything just happened in the best possible way, and like everyone involved are just like, it's so many amazing people. We had so much fun. It was really brutal. I did a lot of fight scenes. I was injured a lot. I was limping, but it was yeah, I had the best time.
I love it.
Did you have a favorite moment from filming on the set?
Wow. Well, there was this one like week we were shooting in the gas station, and this whole sequence ends with me kind of on fire, and they put me on fire for real. And it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and we've been working like a really long night. And I was like, okay, so now we're gonna put me on fire. And I was like,
all right.
Really scared, but I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm committed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That is some serious commitment. I'm excited to see that up there on the big screen tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations.
Thank you. Have a good
Congratulations.
night.
You as well.
Wow.
Don't
set me on fire.
I will not set you on fire. Don't worry. We are about to be joined by another elf from Bright. How are you doing, Lucy? Hello, I'm Tiffany. Nice to meet you. You look beautiful.
Thank you. You look stunning, you guys.
Thank you.
I was channeling a little bit of my inner orc, I feel like.
Well, I was thinking more elf, like that.
Oh, well.
Stylish.
It was the green, I think. I don't know.
It's fantastic.
Thank you.
So tell us about your character.
My character is Tika, and I kind of was like thinking a little bit like Tika with this dress because she's kind of a bit raggedy, and I was like, this is the stylish version of Tika because it's got like the little pieces coming off. Not that, yeah. And so Tika is a little elf. She's full of mystery and mischief and danger, and she's run away from a cult that worships the Dark Lord, which is where Noomi's character Leela is, and that's where I meet Ward and Jacoby, which are Will and Joel's character. So yeah.
What is so fun about this movie too is that there is orcs and elves, and your character in particular speaks Elvish for a large part of the movie. How did you go about learning that? Can you speak it, or is it just like I can read it off the script?
I was such a nerd about it that I still remember it.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, it's like seared into my brain because David would get us to improvise all the time. So I was like, I need to make sure that I've got not thousands, but like a lot of words to draw on if I need to just improvise in any scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lucy, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the premiere. I think
Thank you.
Will Smith is going to join us up here on stage in just a moment. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank
Enjoy the
you.
night.
Congratulations. Can you just say have a good night in Elvish? What she said.
That was legit.
Thank
That
you
was
so
real.
much. It was nice
Thank you,
meeting
Lucy.
That was amazing. Ooh, I don't want to step on her train on the way out.
You finally got your
I know.
Elvish.
I was like,
You
I
were
want
so-
someone to speak Elvish. I'm going to try and get Joel to say something in Orcish.
Whatever else
We'll
happens,
see.
tonight was a success.
It's true.
For Tiffany.
Though if I tried to repeat what she said, I'd be like, nope, didn't get any of it.
Still very impressive. It's very impressive.
You guys, if you're just joining us, this is the premiere of Bright. Use the hashtag BrightMovie. Right
Speaking
now, we
of,
are being joined by
here we go,
Will
here we
Smith.
go, here we go.
What's the
Billy,
deal?
how you doing?
How you feeling, man?
Hey,
What's
we're
the
feeling
deal?
great. Feeling great.
It's
Will
a live
Smith.
stream, so I
It's
interrupted
live,
a live stream.
which is what it's all about. It's what it's all
live,
about. Will
so
Smith.
it's kind of cool. So that gives it the excitement and the energy.
never know what's gonna happen.
You never know what's going to happen or what someone's going to say.
You never
or
know when
do.
Will Smith might just pop up. It's great.
What is it like for you coming out here tonight? Because I know that this film in particular is such a passion project for all of you guys and such a fan film.
Yeah, it's really great. Like, it's a bizarre movie. When I first read it, it was like, huh, But it's like a gritty LA cop drama. Right, it's training day, it's end of watch, it's that dirty, gritty Los Angeles.
Man, let's do it.
But there's orcs and fairies and a dragon and elves, so it's such a unique mashup that Max Landis and David Ayer created. So I'm really excited to see how people respond to it. It's the kind of movie that you really couldn't get made anywhere but Netflix.
Yeah. This is your second project in a row working with David Ayer.
Yeah.
How has it been the second time around?
Oh no, he's the best. He's like, you know, he's like a cinematic AI. You know, he's like a learning machine. You know, as he goes and moves through the projects, and you know, some of the things that he was certain about on our last film working together. Now he's completely flipped, and I love how he can change and how his mind works, and he keeps growing and expanding. It's fun to be a part of the madness of his mind.
I know a lot of people want to talk to you tonight, but I got to ask you, your movie's on Netflix.
Yes.
Netflix has shown they're willing to bring back older TV shows like Full House.
Yeah.
If they wanted to bring back Fresh Prince.
I hope they want to bring back Bright, too.
Bring back Bright, too.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to your fans? Anything right into the camera?
Anything, I need you to check out, it's December 22nd. Bright is coming out. It's a really bizarre, funny, fantastic world, and it's a world I hope we'll be revisiting over the next few years together.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the night.
Congratulations. Have a good night. Awesome. I think that
Bright
we
2
are
confirmed.
Bright 2. You didn't get the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No,
right now, we are being joined by Joel Edgerton. How are you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good.
Welcome.
How you doing?
The lead orc.
Will Smith was here.
Yeah,
He
Will Smith
was.
came by. Yeah.
And when
He had
you leave, we're
nothing-
going to be like, Joel Edgerton was here.
He had nothing but kind words to say about you.
He said kind words
Yeah,
about
that's
me.
true. Yeah.
Oh.
Welcome to the stage. You're the lead orc in this movie.
I'm the orc.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the orc.
I'm the guy that everybody hates. But hopefully everybody kind of understands why. Oh, look, I play a character who everybody treats badly. And I'm a big proponent. I hate bullying.
Yeah.
It's one of the big things in my life. And this, on a grand scale of racism and, classism or whatever, is a grand scale of kind of group bullying.
Yeah.
And so I really responded to this movie. And it's funny that Will is the one being racist towards me.
Yes, go ahead.
What is it about this kind of film in particular? Because just looking at your career, you always have some message. I feel like the films have a really strong message, whether it's Loving or Warrior, and then coming into this film, it has that strong message, but then adding in that fantasy element where you do have orc makeup on, you are a little bit disconnected, but still getting that emotion out of yourself and the audience.
Well, I mean, we got to treat each other better. And as Lucy, one of the actress who plays Tika, she said, we're all walking around in these skin kind of suits, and I thought that was really wonderful. The idea that we all just treat each other based on prejudgment and how each other look and what rules or religion we all sign up to when we're born, willingly or unwillingly. And we got to treat each other better. And this film really is a buddy cop movie that has this sort of very obvious upfront but sort of secret message about let's just be better people to each other.
Choosing to be kind. Choose kind.
Choose to be kind. And I'll tell you what, I had this thought today. It's like, it's amazing with what's going on in the world today with things that people are being outed about bad behavior, is that good people galvanize and group and form gangs in a way, and we see that on the internet, and that bad people tend to operate in their own private hibernation, and the gang will beat the individual because goodness will beat the bad secret behavior. Don't you think?
Honestly, that's what fantasy is all. Fantasy films, superheroes, all that stuff is all about, is showing that the good will win out. And that's what I think is so exciting about this film in particular, is that you guys are getting to show that in a way that maybe everyone's not going in thinking this is a movie about choosing to be nicer, but you watch it because of the mystical fantasy element and you walk away feeling uplifted.
Yeah, and you get to see Will, kick ass like you love doing. And he's got an orc near him who's also trying to kick some ass. And then the orc does all right, too.
Yeah. Hopefully you got to kick a little ass yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if there's ass and it's behaving badly, I will kick it.
That's right. That's good policy.
I like it. First it started off with all the beautifulness of being kind, and then he's like, but also there's butt kicking going on as well.
Yeah, well, that's what the LAPD have to do. Whether you're an orc, whether you're human, there's elves out there and they're behaving badly, report them to us.
I love
so
it.
we've actually got an exclusive clip from your movie that we're going to cut to now. Would you mind throwing us to this exclusive clip?
Yeah, which clip? Okay.
Yeah, just tell the camera. Here we go.
A special exclusive clip from the movie that Will and I are in called Bride.
Sit, I'm out! Shit. Butterfingers.
We were doing so good.
They don't teach that at the academy.
No, they do not.
We are live right now. We thought Joel was like, oh, I'm going to go away. And then he popped back in and we're like, heck yeah, come on up here.
Well, I got to tell you about something. You know, Will was talking about the release of the movie and it's all like it's dropping all around the world in one moment on Netflix. The biggest budget movie, I think, in one moment on the most screens ever. And he's like, there's not enough Will Smith to promote this movie around the world. And he had this brainwave of deciding to kind of expand that and to find as many Will Smiths as he can around the world. And I had the pleasure of introducing maybe an even slightly favorite Will Smith of mine.
Come on up here. Our Australian Will Smith.
How you going? Yeah, nice to meet you guys. What's going on?
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Thanks
I
very
have trouble
much.
understanding him. I can interpret.
Translator?
For you. He said, "Nice to meet you guys."
Okay.
What's going on?
Good.
Great work, Joel.
We're on board there.
One of my favourite actors, the great man. Yeah.
Wait, so tell me about how this came up, because obviously I am a Smith. I'm not a Will Smith. I'm a Tiffany Smith. So how did you get this job and I didn't?
So I'm a Will Smith. Someone tagged me in a video on Facebook that the great man standing next to us, calling all Will Smith. So I jumped on board, got sent to Sydney to do a filming, and now all the way to LA.
So you're here at the premiere. Have you seen the movie yet?
No, I haven't
but you're
seen
gonna
the
see it
movie
tonight.
yet. I've only seen the trailer, yeah.
Okay, so...
By the way, it's brilliant. And you
Oh, no, we don't need
will
to
be
see it.
hashtagging, tweeting, Instagramming about it.
All right.
No, that's weird, isn't it? It's so weird.
I'm absolutely over the moon. So
I'm sure.
Netflix have flown me here for a week to spend in LA for this experience, an amazing experience. I'm over the moon just meeting Joel. Like, I know I just did the movie with him and everything, but just to come here now with the premiere is just...
By the way, you've done a great job in this movie.
Well, since this is a very new experience for you, we're going to give you another one right now. We're about to wrap out the show.
Closing the
since
show.
we've got the stars of the film, will you guys wrap us out?
Edgerton, we're starring in a movie called
Bright.
coming out on December
22nd.
God, you know everything.
I'm the man.
You were so good in the movie, by the way.
He really is Will Smith.
Facebook and Instagram.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has
Amazing.
been the Bright premiere here on IGN. I'm Damon Hatfield. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
I'm Tiffany Smith, not Will Smith, but thank you guys so much. Use that hashtag #BrightMovie.
Tiffany Smith, though.
Everybody have a great night.
Not
For much more
Australian
on
either.
Bright and all the other Netflix originals, stay tuned to IGN.
Tune in December 22nd.
Yeah. Thanks. Will and I.
Catch you later.
Peace out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the premiere of Bright here on IGN. I'm Damon Hatfield here with Tiffany Smith.
Hello, you guys. I'm so excited to be here. I love being on carpet premieres because you just never know what's going to happen. There's always so much craziness. And I think you guys may have already seen the limo drop where Will Smith has already arrived at the premiere. He's signing autographs for fans. Just, it's so fun because you come to these places and obviously on the other side of us, which you guys can't see, but you can see behind us, there's fans who've been lining up here all day just to see Will Smith, David Ayer, Edgar Ramirez, all of the actors from this film, Bright.
Yeah, so Bright is a big new Netflix original starring Will Smith, directed by David Ayer from Suicide Squad. So the two have teamed up again, and they're bypassing the movie theater to bring the movie directly to you next Friday, December 22nd. Later on the show, we will be interviewing Will Smith. We'll be interviewing the Will Smith, and then a few other Will Smiths.
Yeah, apparently he's been promoting the film by bringing other Will Smiths around with him.
He's rounded up just as many Will Smiths as he can find, and he's gonna bring them here on the show.
I'm gonna definitely put myself in the mix because I'm like, well, I'm a Smith. I may not be a Will Smith, but I am a Tiffany Smith.
It's true. Tiffany,
pretty close.
There's a lot to see here on the black carpet for Bright.
Yeah.
What all is there to see?
This carpet is so much fun, you guys. What I was saying about earlier, where you saw little clips of Will Smith signing autographs with fans, that's the limo drop. It's all the way at the other end. That's where the actors, directors, all the friends and family get dropped off, and they start making their way down this carpet where you can see there's a pit of fans that are going to be hanging out there cheering for everybody that they see. And obviously, you come to these premieres, it's all about taking that great photo, getting a great photo op. And so there's a graffiti wall because this film takes place in LA, in an alternate world, obviously, because there's orcs and elves and fairies, but there's a graffiti wall down there where people can be taking photos. You can see some fans and people doing it right now. It looks so cool. The visuals in this film are so much fun. Then they're going to make their way down a little bit further, and David Ayer has talked so much about how music is such a big part of his films. There is a DJ here tonight. There have been musical performances as the actors are going to be making their way down the carpet, which I have to say is really good inspiration for while they're making their way down Photog Alley.
It gets me in a good mood. It gets me pumped.
So true.
And I hear some people cheering over there. So we know some of the stars from the film are already making their way down here. Those stars will include Will Smith, who we'll be talking to later.
Yeah.
Will Smith has just arrived here on the scene at the Bright premiere here in Los Angeles. David Ayer, the director, will be here. Many other members of the cast and the musicians on the soundtrack. And we are also, later on, going to have an exclusive clip from Bright that we will be able to share with you for the first time.
And the other thing for you guys, if you want to be a part of this conversation, use the hashtag BrightMovie.
Speaking of.
This is live. You never know how it's going to go down. And right now we've got David Ayer joining us. How are you?
Hey, I can say anything now, right?
Yes, anything.
It's live, so.
I can't stop you. No one can stop you.
There we go.
Welcome to the IGN stage here. Congrats on the premiere of your movie.
Thank you so much.
We've seen all the trailers. We kind of have the gist of what the movie is about, but tell us what Bright is all about in your own words.
I mean, Bright's about two guys who work together having a really bad night.
What I love so much about your films is they're always so grounded and really realistic and gritty. This one in particular, and even just your description of it, you really leave out the fact that it is a fantasy, that there are elves and orcs and fairies. So how do you balance those two things?
I mean, it's like an old school hardcore cop movie, but at the same time, there's these crazy elements. You know, there's magic and orcs, like you said. But at the same time, it's a lived-in world. You know, even though there's orcs, you know, orcs got to pay their bills just like everybody else.
So this is your second time in a row working with Will Smith. Apparently you two like working together. Apparently that's going well.
Yeah, I mean, we do get along. We got a shorthand now. You know, I'll ask him to do something. He'll give me kind of a hard look, and I'll tell him to do it anyway. But no, he's a fantastic collaborator. And I mean, it's when you have that kind of relationship, it's really about trust.